Love knows no borders. It doesn't usually surprise us to know that a man or woman did something out of this world for his or her beloved. But when it comes to animals, the stories surpass anything we ever expected. From being utmost loyal to their owners or being truly thankful to someone who saved their life, animals have shown some of the greatest qualities throughout human history. Welcome to Mind Read, where today we bring you a list of the top 10 odd and unusual human-animal relationships that you would have never heard of. These stories will surely melt your heart and help you build a new perspective towards love and kindness across the globe, not just within humans, but also animals. But before we begin, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon to get notified so you never miss out on any of the amazing content we'll be bringing to you in the future. Let's get started! Number 10. Tommy the Grieving Dog. When an 18-year-old boy in India adopted a brown mongrel dog, little did he know that the bond between the two would soon be so strong that even death wouldn't be enough to pull them apart. The boy died an untimely death in a road accident and left the whole family grieving for the unforeseen loss. For his dog Tommy, however, it wasn't a day or two of mourning. He sat next to the grave for more than 3 weeks, waiting for his master to come back. His resolve to wait for the boy was so strong that even the harsh weather conditions of extreme sunlight and heat, and then even a couple days of rain, didn't make him move. Tommy stayed graveside for over 3 weeks and even refused to eat. However, finally, he went back to his master's home when the boy's mother came and convinced Tommy to come back. The dog still lives with the mother and continues to visit the boy's grave every day. Number 9. Toldo, the cat who brings gifts. The story of a cat who visits his master Renzo Lazelli's tomb and brings him little presents on an almost daily basis a year after the man's death has moved the inhabitants of a small town in northeast Italy. He brings little twigs, leaves, toothpicks, plastic cups, a bit of everything really, the widow of Lazelli said in an interview to a local news channel. The cat is known to visit the grave on its own, while on other occasions it's accompanied by the widow. The distance and enduring the summers and winters took its toll on Toledo, but it still goes to see its master every single day. It's unusual for cats to have such dog-like behaviors, but the love between Lazelli and Toldo shows us that anything is possible. Toldo now lives with the widow and her daughter and son-in-law, and is known to be super caring of the family, just like its master. Number 8. Captain, the loyal German Shepherd. Captain was a German Shepherd who sat at his owner's grave for more than 6 years. Miguel Guzman adopted the pup for his son Damien in 2005 as a gift for his birthday. Little did he know that the dog would be as attached to him as it would have been to his son. When Guzman died in 2006, Captain went missing from the home, and the family went on to search for the dog. It took them a week to finally find him when they were visiting the graveyard. The mysterious part was, they never took the dog to the burial site, and nobody knew how Captain was able to find the grave. They found the dog barking and crying over the grave, and he refused to leave the place even after the family tried multiple times. Later, they decided that they'd let him be a good boy for his master, and let him stay. The graveyard authorities reported that the dog never left Guzman's side and even slept on the grave throughout every single night. Cemetery director Hector Basega says that he and his staff had been feeding and taking care of Captain until the day he died right next to his master's grave after more than 6 years of standing guard. Number 7. Tommy, the heartbroken German Shepherd. Another Tommy and another story of unbroken loyalty. Maria Loki had a lot of pets, but Tommy and she shared a special bond. She would take him to church every day, and the priest would allow Tommy to sit patiently by her feet. This special permission led to a weekly ritual that continued for the rest of Tommy's life. After Maria's death, the dog made a habit of turning up for Mass every day. He's still coming to Mass even after Maria's funeral. He waits patiently by the side of the altar and just sits there quietly. I don't have the heart to throw him out. I just recently lost my own dog, so I leave him there until Mass finishes, and then I let him out, says the priest. Number 6. Hercules, the real-life teddy. A childless British couple adopted a grizzly bear in the 1970s and raised it like their own son, who grew up drinking beer and eating steaks right at their table. Andy and Maggie adopted a bear cub in the year 1974 and named him Hercules. Hercules lived with the couple and was raised by them. He grew up to become an 8-foot, 500-kilogram, giant, albeit gentle bear. Hercules toured the world, met Margaret Thatcher, starred in a James Bond movie, and once spent 3 weeks on the loose in the Outer Hebrides. The bear lived with the couple, drinking his morning tea from a mug and sitting up at the table to blow out the candles on his birthday cake. At night, he would sprawl out in front of the fire while Maggie rested her feet on his enormous furry bottom. He ate copious amounts of prawns from Marks & Spencer, preferred his steak well done, thank you very much, and spent his days wrestling Andy in the glens and burns near their vast Scottish ranch. A documentary was made about life at home with him, and he was voted a TV Personality of the Year. Number 5. Xander, the worried husky. John Dolan rescued Xander, a white husky, from a shelter where he was starving and in bad shape. Naturally, Xander was in love with his human. When Dolan had to be hospitalized one day due to a skin condition, Xander got very depressed and moped around the house. Not able to take it anymore, Xander sneaked out from his house at 3 a.m. and ended up in the hospital 2 miles away from where Dolan was admitted. A nurse found him wandering outside and called the number on the caller. Xander was later taken back home by Dolan's wife. The dog had never been to that hospital before, and his family say they think he tracked down Dolan by following his scent. However, this wasn't a one-time thing. Xander managed to escape and reach his master's hospital location twice during the time he was undergoing treatment. What a good boy. Number 4. Hawkeye, the inconsolable Labrador. It was the picture that broke everyone's heart. Hawkeye the Labrador lying longingly by his master's coffin as the Navy SEAL's emotional funeral was conducted. Petty Officer John Tummelson was killed in a major U.S. helicopter crash in Afghanistan. He was one of the 38 officers who died during that incident. Amongst the mourning family, he left behind a very good boy who couldn't comprehend the loss and was totally inconsolable. The dog was not himself anymore, even at home, and things looked pretty bleak for the poor pup who'd lost his best friend. But it was during this hour, Tummelson's close friend Scott Nichols stepped up and agreed to adopt the Labrador. And we're happy to report that this good boy is living a happy life. Number 3. Yoriko, the coolest fish on Earth. Beneath the surface of Japan's Tateyama Bay stands a shrine called a torii, sacred to the Shinto region. But more than being a place of spiritual importance, the underwater site is host to something else that's remarkable, a unique friendship between a man and a fish. For more than 2 decades, a local diver named Hiroyuki Arakawa has been entrusted with the overseeing of the shrine and being a guide to others who wish to visit it. In that time, he's become well acquainted with the local marine animals who live in the area, including one friendly Asian sheepshed race named Yoriko. Over the course of 25 years, the pair have forged an incredible bond based on trust and respect. Perhaps the sweetest treatment to their friendship can be seen in Arakawa's custom greeting to Yoriko with a kiss. Although fish may not be commonly considered particularly feeling sorts of creatures, that's a notion based more on misconception than reality. In fact, a recent study found that fish are smarter and more social than previously thought, and one only needs to look at Arakawa and Yoriko's quarter-century-long friendship for proof. Number 2. Mira Buca, the thankful kangaroo. An Australian nurse has spent the last 6 years caring for wallabies, and even after the release back into the wild, many still visit her. They locate her home, knock on her front door, and wait for the veterinary nurse to invite them inside. One such wallaby is named Mira Buca, and she was given to the nurse as a 5-month-old, after her mom was tragically hit by a car. The animal caretaker raised a young Mira Buca and later released her when she was old enough. The natural action plan is to do a so-called soft release, where the animals are released from their pen and they're free to come back to the pen, and most of them will only go out for short adventures, the first few days while they build confidence. While Mira Buca went into the wild, she continued to visit the lady at the house every now and then, and most recently, she's even brought a special guest with her, her son, sitting in her pouch. Number 1. Dindim, the traveler penguin. Life changed for a 71-year-old bricklayer and part-time fisherman when he rescued a South American Magellanic penguin on an island beach outside Rio de Janeiro in 2011. Covered in oil and in the clutches of death, life was pumped back into the bird, courtesy of the efforts of the fisherman. But that wasn't the end of the story. Even though the penguin, named Dindim, was nursed back to health, it refused to leave the fisherman's side and stayed on for 11 months at the same local beach. After going back out into the wild, the fisherman thought this would be the end of the story, but was it? Since they met in 2011, the creature, which normally breeds on the Patagonian coasts of Argentina and Chile, 3,000 to 5,000 miles away, the creature has become a faithful companion, swimming every year from its habitat to spend 8 months living with the retired fisherman in his house on the island. Now that's what we call a true friendship.